that last year they called, Paulson from Treasury Department and Bernanke from the Fed over to Japan, or to China, and saying, we don't want to talk with your puppets. We want to talk with your real government. And they said to them, those dollars you're giving us are worse than opium. Opium at least gave us pleasure. They forced them to buy opium in the Opium Wars, right?
Yeah.
And they're saying, we try to buy companies, and they say you can't buy companies. They only let you, the only thing you'll let us do is finance our military. Well, we're not going to do that anymore. And instead, we're going to take this money and we're going to make the poor people of the world better off. And we're going to sell our dollars. And the Americans apparently left the meeting like blue in the face and tears in their eyes. And then OPEC called up and told the Chinese that if you don't keep those dollars, we're not going to sell you oil. So there was some big fight between the secret U.S. government and the Chinese late last year. And the Chinese have been moving heavily into Africa. They're trying to develop all the world. They're making all the poor people rich. But they have to keep some of those dollars. However, it's only a matter of time. I think the era of oil is coming to an end, and that's why they're jacking up the prices. It's like they're trying to squeeze as much as they can out before the door shuts, and the whole oil thing comes to an end. The 20th century will be known as the hellish century of that black poison known as oil. And it'll be an electric age coming up. It'll be much nicer, cleaner, everything better.
Well, if Tesla had been allowed to do what he wanted to do with your great-grandfather, we'd be there now.
Well, the Chinese, they're starting, they're working on it. I mean, and the Japanese have the technology that's being suppressed by the Americans. I've had senior Japanese government officials tell me all this technology they have that's being suppressed. They say, we'll bomb you and we'll kill you if you start providing people with free energy. I mean, that's where these people are coming from. It's ridiculous. There's no way to run a planet.
Nope. No arguments here. All right, let's go to Idaho and say hi to Paul. Hello, Paul. Welcome. You there, Paul?
Yes, Mr. Rense.
Yes, sir.
You're the best. I've been listening to you for many years.
Well, thank you, sir, very much. I appreciate that. I try. I'll tell you that.
Well, there's not enough out there trying. That's the problem. I have a comment to make to Mr. Fulford.
Yes.
Okay. I think that if you don't get on the Rothschilds, they own all the banks in Europe and probably most of the Federal Reserve. The royals are connected with the royals in England and the Netherlands and so on. The British control the Freemasons, especially above the 33rd degree. There's the Warburgs and the Morgans and the Kissingers and a whole bunch. But the Rothschilds seem to hold most of the money in the world. They control the gold. I mean, the gold market opens with the Rothschilds in London setting the price. So, and that's something that's done a little broader, and I think it's the real. Okay, the only other thing I want to say is I've heard so many nice things said about China, but they haven't been so nice to the workers. I don't know. They admitted to huge numbers of demonstrations where they sent in troops to shoot them down.
Well, I would suggest, Paul, that Benjamin is not here to defend the communist Chinese regime and its oppression of humans and its terrible human rights record. We have one that's just about as bad. But we're talking about a Chinese secret society here, which is antithetical to that.
Yeah. And you got to about the Rothschilds. Now, I'm aware they control Europe, and I'm aware they have huge control. But they're planning, to expand the EU. They want a world government based on the EU, right? With them in secret control.
Well, I guess they control the United Nations pretty much too, and they've been very much pro eugenics.
Yeah,
which was an American creation, by the way. We exported it to Germany, and but yes.
I know that.
Yeah,
you sound very well informed, Paul.
I'm also involved with the Japanese Freemasons, okay, and they have told me they don't want to cut their relations with the Rothschilds, right? And they're more interested in doing the Rockefeller issue. So if I can combine the Japanese with the Chinese and then get all the Russians and stuff, I think that we can start with the Rockefellers, get them to stop their crazy warmongering, and then I believe the Rothschilds can be negotiated with to something that, to a regime change that will allow them to operate not in secret but in the open, something like that. But in any case, my understanding is we've got to start with the people who want to carry out this radical genocide, and that's the highest priority. So we'll deal with the Rothschilds later. I mean, that's where I'm coming from. And now also I have the wishes of the Japanese Freemasons as well as the Chinese secret society to deal with, which is why I take that attitude.
Mm-hmm.
And also, I think, despite the eugenics and all that sort of nasty racist stuff, the Rothschilds are a slightly more intelligent, sophisticated bunch, and I believe that they can be talked with. But we'll see. If not, then things will change.
The only one, I think that they'll pull the wool over your eyes and say yes, but one of the big things they're doing now is pushing Gaia as a new world religion. And basically what they do is take control of all the natural resources under the auspices of protecting society. But in the meantime, a few big corporations they control the water, the seeds, production, everything, every last puddle in the world.
Yeah, they're talking about building 500 nuclear power plants in China, and I don't know if they're later going to hit them with the earthquake machine or something. But they're not. Look, these people have to realize that their era of controlling the world is coming to an end. They're going to have to share it with the people of the planet, and it'll have to be a smooth transition. Otherwise it's going to be a violent one, and I don't want that because they're going to be the losers. Like I said,
listen, I don't want to hog all your time, but sure. I just wanted to. I've studied these kind of issues a long time, and this is a deep well to fish in, and it's not just. I don't think it's just one little.
Well, that's a very excellent description. It is a deep, dark well, and you're right, and I think all of us know that, basically.
Sure. I mean, and you got to use the process like judo. You got to use their strength against them. But I appreciate email contact. If you have more details of or information, I should know. But, my information comes straight from very senior people in the Japanese government and then these Chinese folks, and I have to kind of represent their interests, and it's not just my own opinion, right? So what they're saying is right now we just want the Rockefellers to stop their insanity, and they say that these are the people who are the source of the biggest problem.
Very good. Thank you very much, Paul, and keep up your research. I appreciate that. Okay. We're going to pause, and we'll come right back with Benjamin Fulford, who again made the point in his first visit, and it's rather obvious that SARS is the odds-on candidate to have been the latest, most recent biological warfare effort, which is ethno-specific, i.e. Asian. No doubt. It didn't work for a variety of reasons. The earthquake is another big issue. There's a lot on the table here. It is a very deep well. Be right back in just a couple minutes. Okay, back with Benjamin Fulford, and talking about a lot of things now. Do you see the Chinese playing the dollar to the extent that it will put pressure on the Rothschilds? Forget the secret society for a minute. There's a lot of potential leverage over there. What do you think the communist Chinese are up to?
Well, look, you got to remember something, that finance, as I mentioned last time, is a process of deciding what humanity will do in the future. And about 65% of the world's excess money, is in Asia, which means that the Asians now actually have the power to decide what will happen to the future of this planet. Now, they haven't been exercising that power yet, but it is just a matter of time. And that scares a lot of the people in the West who've been used to controlling things for years, and they're not sure what to do about the situation. But the Chinese, do not want the American people to become poor because they'll lose their best customers. And they don't want, to cause turmoil. At the same time, though, they don't like